Welcome back to the New Tone. It's your boy Newton Myers. All right, let's get into it, man, because, we all saw it. Rolling Loud was trash, absolute trash, and then actually it was an embarrassment. It shows that these kids aren't prepared and the industry is really doing them wrong. Rolling Loud wasn't a festival, it was a CSI forensic report. We witnessed the final gasping breath of the so-called viral artists. I'm looking at these clips and these kids be having like millions of views, and all this fan base across the globe, and yet when they get on stage, they have the presence of a wet paper bag. It was amateur, it was very low frequency. It's an insult to everybody that's ever been on stage, anybody that's ever bled and fell and did their thing. If you aren't embarrassed by what happened this weekend, then you really aren't paying attention. The industry lied to you. They told you that if you can get 1 billion streams from a bedroom in Ohio, you're a superstar. But the stage is the only place that doesn't lie. You can't bot a live crowd. You can't algorithm your way out of being out of breath by the hook. We saw the frequency mismatch in real time. You have 1 million person reach, but you have 0 person skills. Labels are mining these kids like a lithium battery. They extract the hype, burn you out, and then they discard you. They don't care if you sound like trash because they've already moved on to the next trend. They're not developing these artists. They're actually just using them up and then liquidating them. The one thing that I saw that drove me crazy with these clips that I saw is that half the sets that I saw was just artists jumping around like caffeinated squirrels. While playing their studio track played at 100% behind them. The lip syncing, man, it's a confession, actually. You're really telling on yourself. It's saying that you can't actually perform your songs. If the audience wanted to hear an MP3, they'd stay home. You aren't adding value to the record when you're live. You're just a fraud, and you saw it in real time, And look at these guys, look at their eyes. They weren't even looking at the fans, they're looking at the Jumbotron to see if their hair and their outfit was tight. They were trapped in that mirror trap. They're performative, they weren't present. When you're high frequency, you can command the air and you don't check your angles, you just check the pulse of the room. And if you're on there checking your own aesthetic during a set, then you've already lost the entire set. Preparation is respect, and if you haven't trained your lungs, your mic technique, your cardio, you're disrespecting the stage. We talk about constant knowledge all the time, and if you don't know the mechanics of your own voice, if you don't know how to control your breath, you're not a pro. You're just a tourist in the game, and you need to really focus and step your game up. I've been in this game for over 25 years, and I've seen the next big thing. I've seen them come and go 1,000 times, and you know who stays? The one who's mastered the undercurrent, the one who's mastered doing what they do. We'll see, I forget that a tight 15-minute set is way better than a 45-minute set of madness and dysfunction. But the good thing is that for artists that are actually on their game right now, because the standard is trash, your superpower is excellence. The general audience is actually starving for a professional, so it's your time to be the exception. The industry is a house of cards, and the wind is really picking up. Don't be a casualty of the trend, you gotta be a pillar. Stop practicing until you get it right, and practice until you're the only solution that they look for in the room. I think that the era of the accidental superstar is over, and the era of the purposeful architect has begun. I say this to say this, there is need for artist development, and looking at the Rolling Loud concert and some of its footage, it's obvious. There's kids that are on the stage that have no mic control, no breath control, and really no stage presence at all. It only takes 15 seconds to go viral on the internet. But what happens when you have to perform for more than 15 seconds on stage? That's when it happens. I think that's when the flaws, and that's when the lack of practice, and that's when the lack of teaching reveals itself. We need better artist development. This is a New Tone. It's Newton Myers.